एक समागम प्रोग्राम होने जा रहा, बहुत छोटा जिहा संखेप जिहा पर प्रभावशाली प्रोग्राम है। ये पंजाबी ग्लोबल पंजाबी फॉरम USA जिहड़ी हैगी LA दे विच उन्हां वल्लों एक सन्मान समारोह छोटा जिहा रखा गया। कांग्रेसमैन ब्रैड शर्मन दे उहदे स्वागत वास्ते क्या ये जांदा कि ब्रैड शर्मन जिहड़े कांग्रेसमैन ने उन्हां ने साडी पंजाबी कम्यूनिटी लई खास तौर ते भारत विच वसदे किसानां दे हक दे विच हा दा नारा मारिया ते नाल दी नाल जिहड़ी उत्थे इंटरनेट दीयां सेवावां बंद होईयां सी ओह भी इन्हां दे दबाਅ नाल ही उत्थे चलाईयां गईयां। ग्लोबल पंजाबी फॉरम USA की गल करिए तो डॉक्टर जसपाल सिंह इहदे प्रधान ने जिन्हां दे घर दे विच अज दा ये प्रोग्राम इत्थे LA दे विच रखिया गया ते नाल दी नाल ग्लोबल पंजाबी फॉरम दे होर मैंबर भी इत्थे होणगे, उन्हां नाल भी गल करांगे। ते डॉक्टर जसपाल सिंह जी की गल करिए तो बहुत ही वधिया शख्सियत मिल के बहुत खुशी हुंदी है। कोई भी जदों उन्हां नूं मिलदा खास तौर पर जिक्र करना बनता है कि सरदार मनमोहन सिंह जी जो कि दुनिया के विच एक ईमानदार इंसान ते बहुत ही उच्च कोटि के प्रधानमंत्री तौर पर जाने जाते हैं। साडे साबका प्रधानमंत्री मनमोहन सिंह जी उन्हां दे बहुत करीबी ने ते इस तो असीं अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं कि उन्हां दा सुभाਅ किस तरह का होएगा जिन्हां दे दोस्त मित्र डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी वर्गे ने। आओ चलते हैं जी, प्रोग्राम शुरू होने वाले तो उत्थे दिखाने हैं ब्रैड शर्मन जी की कहिंदे ने जां बाकी बुलारे की बोलते हैं।
जो अज का ये प्रोग्राम है छोटे जी इवेंट है, ये ग्लोबल पंजाबी फोरम वालों रखी गई है। इसका मकसद तो यही है जो किसान अंदोलन इंडिया में चल रहा है उहदे बाबत है, क्योंकि साडे इत्थों के कांग्रेसमैन मिस्टर ब्रैड शर्मन ने जो हक है बेसिक जो राइट्स है अपने उन्होंने वायलेट हो रहे इंडिया के किसानों के खिलाफ बैरीकेड कर रहे हैं तो हंझू के गैस के गोले छड्ड रहे हैं। तो ये मुताबिक साडे ब्रैड शर्मन ने आवाज़ उठाई सी ते अज का ये प्रोग्राम उन्होंने वास्ते रखा ताकि उन्होंने असी थैंक यू कर सकीए तो अगे वास्ते भी वो साडी जदोजहद में साथ देंदे रहन
जी। डॉक्टर जसपाल सिंह जी साडे नाल जुड़े ने। डॉक्टर साहब अज का जिहड़ा रखिया फंक्शन उहदे संबंध में जानकारी दिओ जी साडे दर्शकां नूं।
अज का संबंध जी जगतार सिंह जी अज का असी लंबे समय तो देख रहे हैं फार्मर जो प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं उन्होंने सरकार सुन नहीं रही कुछ भी। मैं फिर अपने कांग्रेसमैन ब्रैड शर्मन उन्होंने बेनती की सी भी तुसीं इंटरफेयर करो, उन्हें इंटरफेयर करके सरकार ते प्रेशर पाया तो ये उन्होंने प्रेशर के नाल इंटरनेट तो जर्नलिस्ट की जी सर्विस सी शुरू हुई तो इस करके असीं उन्होंने थैंक्स करने लई उन्हें साडे लई कुछ कीता। असीं उन्होंने बेनती की उन्होंने असीं उन्होंने एप्रीशिएट करन सद्दिया अज तो वो साडे च छेती ज्वाइन करनगे। ब्रैड शर्मन कांग्रेसमैन।
Name is Jus Singh Marwa from Los Angeles. Today's gathering is just to honor a congressman who has been very good for the human rights of the people, especially for the Indians. And his statement last was a wonderful statement because the human rights of the Sikhs and especially farmers in India were taken away by force, and they have demonstrated pretty much, but the Indian government hasn't succeeded so far. But the statement by Congressman Brett Sherman will definitely help to start a process so the government can take back the wrong law which they have done against the farmers of India.
मेरा नाम संतोष सिंह अरोड़ा है। ब्रैड शर्मन कांग्रेसमैन जिन्होंने कि आवाज़ उठाई है इंडिया के विच जो फार्मर्स प्रोटेस्ट चल रहे हैं उन्होंने सपोर्ट करने वास्ते और इंडिया गवर्नमेंट से प्रेशर पाया कि भाई तुसी इन्होंने पीसफुली प्रोटेस्ट करन दो और इंटरनेट वगैरह खोलो। सो वी आर हियर गेटिंग टुगेदर टू ऑनर ब्रैड शर्मन कांग्रेसमैन हु विल बी हियर शॉर्टली।
हाँ जी, मेरा नाम तरलोचन सिंह है जी। असी सारे इत्थे सरदार जसपाल सिंह जी दे डॉक्टर जसपाल सिंह जी के घर इकट्ठे हुए हैं। साडा जिहड़ा अज दा इकट्ठ हैगा ये ब्रैड शर्मन जो साडे कांग्रेसमैन ने डिस्ट्रिक्ट 30 तो कैलीफोर्निया दे विच असी उन्हां दे धन्नवाद दे वास्ते इकट्ठे होए हैं। आपां सारिआं नूं पता है कि लगभग 4-5 महीने तो पंजाब दे विच फार्मर एजीटेशन चल रही है। जो मोदी सरकार ने काले कानून पास कीते हैं उन्हां दे अगेंस्ट ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਮਾਰੂ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਬੰਧ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਜਾਂ ਹਰਿਆਣੇ ਦੇ ਹਿਮਾਚਲ ਦੇ
ਤੇ ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਟੇਟਾਂ ਦੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਐਜੀਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੋਦੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਦਲਾ ਲਊ ਕਾਰਵਾਈ ਕਰਦਿਆਂ ਹੋਇਆਂ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਗੂਗਲ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹੋਰ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਬੰਦ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਆਪਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਕਮਿਊਨੀਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਨਾ ਹੋ ਸਕੇ ਤੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਬਦਅਮਨੀ ਫੈਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਬਦਨਾਮੀ ਦਾ ਸਿੱਟਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਦੇ ਸਿਰ ਤੇ ਮੜਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕੇ। ਸੋ ਇਸ ਸਬੰਧ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲਾਸ ਐਂਜਲਸ ਦੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਪਤਵੰਤੇ ਸੱਜਣ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਸਪਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਬ੍ਰੈਡ ਸ਼ਰਮਨ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਮੁੜ ਤੋਂ ਚਾਲੂ ਕਰਾਈਆਂ ਜਾਣ ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਜਨਤਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਬਣਿਆ ਰਹੇ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਸਕੇ। ਸੋ ਬ੍ਰੈਡ ਸ਼ਰਮਨ ਜੀ ਦੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਦੇ ਸਦਕਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਦਕਾ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੇ ਨੇੜਲੇ ਤੇੜੇ ਦੇ ਇਲਾਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਾਲੂ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬ੍ਰੈਡ ਸ਼ਰਮਨ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਗੁਜ਼ਾਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਰਵਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਮਰਥਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਵਾਂਗੇ। ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।
Today we are here to thank Mr. Brad Sherman, who is our respected congressman, about what he has done in the favor of Indian farmers who are agitating in outskirts of New Delhi, just against for the 3 laws which are introduced recently by the government of India. We all know this agitation is going on for the last 6 months, and it is the 3 months all the farmers or all the jathebandis, they are at the Singhu border, Tikri border or Gazipur border. There are 5 borders and they are gathered there. The most important thing is this agitation is a mass agitations. Hundreds of thousands farmers are there and this agitation is peaceful. On the contrary, Government of India has tried to barricade them, has tried to put the shells of tears. They have lathi charge and even they had terminated the internet service. They are repeatedly stopping the water supply and whatever the other services. There are human basic rights. These are violated. Mr. Brad Sherman has kindly advocated for the human rights, for the democracy norms, and due to his effort, due to his voice, the Government of India, they have resumed the internet service around Delhi for the farmers. I remember today, these are the words of some important person. I will let you know. Today he was speaking at the Indian Parliament in late early 60s or late 50s. Of the last century, and he was the guest of state government there was a Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru at that time. I'm talking about the last century, and his name was Dalip Singh Song. He spoke, he was addressing the parliament. He said exact word, today if there is a democracy, true democracy in the world, that is in USA, that is in America, and the example of that I am here, Dalip Singh Song. He was the first Asian, not the Indian, first Asian congressman in this system. So just to keep those norms, America is the champion for the democracy, for the human rights, for the fundamental rights of the people. So to continue those lines, Mr. Brad Sherman has done a lot for farmers, for Indian farmers. We are all here gathered just to say thank you, Mr. Brad Sherman. Now I will call Dr. Jaspal Singh, who is the President of Global Punjabi Forum. From this forum, this program is being organized. So I will call him to the mic so that he may speak about today's events. Dr. Jaspal Singh ji.
Thank you for coming here today. I really appreciate Brad, our Congressman, accept our invitation and making time from his busy schedule we here today. We are gathered here today to honor our Congressman Brad Sherman and Scott Abram for their support for our community and standing up for democracy, and urging Indian officials to allow farmer protesting in New Delhi to have access to internet and journalists. With your effort, Brad Sherman, farmers are allowed to have their basic democracy norm given them back to them. For this, we please accept our heartfelt appreciation. We are all indebted to you. Here, I want to thank Dr. Marwa, my big brother. Due to him, I know Brad and Scott more than 20 years. In this world, we need more leaders like him who would stand up for truth and democracy. I, along with our Global Punjabi Forum, is very thankful to you for whatever you've done for us.
Well, I can start from Dr. Marwa. I know Marwa from long time. I read some articles about him when I was in India. In 70s, if you know English Tribune which is published from Chandigarh, there were several articles about Dr. Marwa. If you go to Google, you can still search those articles, that he helped farmers so much. He was getting farmers together and bringing them on tourist visa to this country so they can learn more about new techniques of farming. So Dr. Marwa is associated with the farming from day one, and we are grateful to Brad Sherman. With the Brad Sherman, I want to tell you one more thing, that we talked about past century. In 60s, we were really short of food in India. We were struggling for bread and butter. If most of you know, Kennedy in 1961 brought a regulation that's called PL 480. That was a peace and food, food for peace. So Kennedy is the first one, Democrat president, who started this organization in India, PL 480. He not only gave us a food. If you remember, Punjab Agriculture University is a contribution of JF Kennedy. He is the one who started this Punjab Agriculture University, and second university was started, Pantnagar University. So those are all related to farmers. I just want to thank you, Mr. Sherman, that whatever you are doing for us, whatever you are doing for community, we're always grateful to you. And I also appeal everybody, stay Democrat, because Democrats are the one, they help our Sikhs, they help the community. Thank you very much.
It's a privilege to introduce the Honorable Brad Sherman, who has been in the forefront of fights and advice from this country to India. He has been in the Foreign Affairs Committee. He has done many pluses for India all the time. This is not the first time that he has spoken again for the human rights of the people of India. He has been chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, where India comes first. And I have great relationship with the Honorable Brad Sherman for the last more than 2.5 decades, since the time he came to the Congress. And I have great respect for this man, that he comes out with bold statements all the time for the people of any place. And this time, because the Indian government took a very wrong step to hit the poor farmers who have very small land, so their livelihood depends on them only on that little 5 acres. Now I hope the government of India does listen and changes that law back to normal again as used to be. Today, a small group of these Indians have got together to honor a man who has done many, many acts for India. He has been in the Congress more than 22 years. I remember the first time I met Brad Sherman through his predecessor, Congressman Bielsen, and we had a great friendship since then. Today, I will request Honorable Brad Sherman to put a more light on this particular little act he has taken, and he has proven himself to be a bold congressman. Today, the Global Punjabi Forum appreciates the congressman, and in that honor, they would like to present to the congressman a small memorandum of appreciation from all of us. Congressman, this is a small token from all these people who say you're the bold Congressman of the United States. Congressman.
Hello, I'm Brad Sherman from America's best name city, Sherman Oaks. Jus Paul, it's an honor to be at your home. Dr. Marwa, it is such an honor for you to be here. For 25 years, I've served on the Foreign Affairs Committee of the House of Representatives. I have chaired the Asia Subcommittee of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and I am in my 3rd year now of chairing the India Caucus. Every day when Congress is in session, when I go to vote, I see the painting of the first Asian to ever serve in our Congress, Dalip Singh Sound. And it reminds me of Dr. Marwa, his right-hand man, in the Imperial Valley so many years ago. As chair of the India Caucus, I never tire of saying that America is the first democracy and India is the largest democracy. We are friends. But friends, a real friend, will bring something to your attention that may not be consistent with what you want to hear at that very moment. And so I brought to the attention, we organized a call of the leadership of the India Caucus to talk to the ambassador, Sandhu, how important it is to follow the normal rules of democracy when a group wants to protest. The right to assemble and to petition your government is in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. And we should particularly listen to farmers. No farmers, no food. And while the United States is a democracy, we're actually a democracy that tilts itself a little bit toward the farmers. For example, between North Dakota and South Dakota, you have mostly farmers, fewer people than the San Fernando Valley. 4 senators from the Dakotas. When we get a senator from the San Fernando Valley, maybe I'll get a promotion. So we have a democracy, we listen to our farmers, we allow peaceable petitioning of the government, and whenever possible, we work things out. Now, I am not an expert. If I was given a farm, I would go bankrupt so quickly. I am not an agronomist. I cannot tell you what the policy should be. But in every democracy, you sit down, you listen to people, you work things out. And that's what I hope happens in India. In addition to the Zoom call that we did with the ambassador, my vice chair and I, Rokahana and myself, have sent a private letter to the ambassador listing many scores of cases that we just wanted more information about. Because people have been detained, sometimes their families know where they are, sometimes their families don't know where they are, and we'd like to bring these matters to the attention of the Indian government at the highest level. This is my involvement with the Sikh community, as Dr. Marwal points out, goes back at least 25 years. I was at the Gurdwara where they put a turban on my head on my way to the airport so I could learn what it was like to go to the airport with a turban. They did stop me, but I think they stopped me because of in the luggage I had a wedding gift that was made out of thick glass. And of course, we gathered together on the sad day to memorialize what happened in Wisconsin. And there have been other sad days as well, and I've worked in Congress to make sure that hate crimes against Sikhs are part of the hate crimes law, to make sure that we have tougher penalties. It's one thing to have, God forbid, a crime against a person because they want to steal your wallet. It's another thing when it's an attack on a whole community as well as that individual. Now, in addition to focusing on India, I should focus a little bit on the San Fernando Valley. As has been pointed out, with me is Scott Abrams, who heads our constituent service office, located in America's best named city, Sherman Oaks. And I want to put in a pitch for Scott's work. Imagine a federal agency makes a mistake. It could happen. Could be Social Security, could be the IRS, could be one of our consulates in India not issuing a visa that ought to be issued. You call Scott. He works very hard, he solves your problem, and then I, Brad Sherman, take the credit. It's an outstanding system. We've been particularly helpful on the PPP loan program for so many small businesses in the San Fernando Valley. As it happens, my other committee is the Financial Services and Banking Committee, so I've been able to put a lot of small businesses together with lenders when they didn't have, when their lender couldn't make the PPP loan, or they didn't have a lender. And we now have the process by which those loans are forgiven, and it is a complex process because it is government, it is red tape, and we do have that. But we stand ready to help businesses throughout the San Fernando Valley. Another local matter I'll bring to your attention is that in a few months, a state commission will start drawing all the lines of the assembly districts and the state senate districts and the congressional districts. There are already some proposals out there that put Northridge and Beverly Hills in the same district. These proposals come from people who have never driven through the Sepulveda Pass, or excuse me, never tried to drive through this. Nobody has actually driven through the Sepulveda Pass. They've never tried to drive through the Sepulveda Pass. And we need to tell people who may never have been in our area that the valley is the valley, that it's separated from the Beverly Hills area, from the Westwood area, by a pass that you cannot go through. And frankly, when you create a district that's Beverly Hills and Valley, Beverly Hills tends to control what happens. It's, you don't want to go up against Beverly Hills. So it's very important to the Valley that we have the districts, and that they're Valley districts, not districts that pretend that that there's no distance between Encino and Westwood. So with that, I look forward to working with you, and I know I'll be in touch with Jus Paul and others, and Scott will be very involved, and we will bring these to the attention. But coming back to the real reason we're here, we need to stand up for democracy, stand up for farmers, stand up for a process by which people can fairly demonstrate. And I look forward to a system that works for everyone in India. Thank you very much.